The following clip begins with loud, repeated banging echoing through the apartment, sharp enough to jolt the person filming upright from the couch beside the bed. It sounds deliberate, like something hitting a wall or door over and over, and after a moment of hesitation, they decide to investigate.
All right, let's investigate.
Camera in hand, they move through the apartment, checking nearby rooms, the hallway, even the front door, but everything is exactly as it should be. No movement, no open doors, no explanation for the noise they just heard. The banging has completely stopped, leaving behind an uncomfortable silence that feels heavier than the sound itself. After finding nothing, they head back toward the bedroom, clearly trying to convince themselves it was just a random noise. But as soon as they step back inside, the tension returns. The room feels different now, quieter, in a way that feels intentional, almost like whatever caused the banging is waiting. After ending the video, they pause near the couch, scanning the space slowly, listening for any hint of it starting again. Nothing does, at least not on camera, but the way they hesitate before sitting back down says enough. The banging may have stopped, but the feeling that something followed them back into the room never really goes away. James had already been dealing with strange activity in his house for days, which is exactly why he had his phone ready when this moment happened. He starts recording as the door handle in front of him begins shaking violently, rattling back and forth with force that clearly isn't normal. The handle suddenly twists on its own, and the door swings fully open, revealing the room beyond it. You can hear James breathing heavily behind the camera, frozen in place as he tries to process what he's seeing. Just as quickly, the door slowly shuts itself again, clicking into place. For a brief second, everything goes quiet, almost like it's over, but then the handle moves again. The door opens a second time, wider than before slamming shut once more as if whatever was doing it was toying with him. James later explained that this wasn't an isolated incident, and that similar things had been happening regularly in that room, which is what pushed him to finally film it. Seeing the door open and close repeatedly with that kind of force, and hearing the panic in his breathing, makes it clear this wasn't staged. Whatever was on the other side of that door clearly wanted to be noticed. Late at night, two friends were standing in the hallway of a house that had already been making them uneasy when they decided to finally check the attic. Ali stood directly beneath the hatch, holding the long stick used to pull it open, while his friend filmed from a few steps back. Heavy banging could be heard coming from above, loud and deliberate, not like animals or loose pipes, but slow, forceful knocks that seemed to respond to their presence.
Escucha, hágale suavecito. Espere, hágale.
Ali hesitates for a moment before pushing the attic door upward with the stick. As it creaks open, the darkness above fills the frame, and then something horrifying appears. An uncanny face suddenly becomes visible in the opening, pale and unnatural, staring straight down at them from the attic. It doesn't speak or move much, but its presence alone is enough. The moment they realize what they're looking at, both of them panic. The camera jolts violently as they turn and sprint away, shouting in fear as the attic door slams shut behind them. The footage was cut shortly after, but Ali later claimed neither of them went back up there that night. No one else was supposed to be in the house, and whatever looked down at them from that attic was never seen again. After weeks of dealing with things he couldn't explain inside the house, Tanner finally decided he needed some air and a break from whatever had been going on. He stepped outside with his phone, filming casually while talking to the camera about how tense everything had been lately, saying he just wanted to clear his head. The area around him looked empty and quiet, and nothing seemed out of place at first.
Hey guys, so I decided to just get out of the house today. I think it's probably good for me to keep my mind off of things and just maybe not think about it so much. I'm starting to feel paranoid, like the only place I feel safe is at my house, and I don't really think that that's healthy, so I decided to just get out today. Thanks you guys to anyone who reached out to me. I'm doing fine, I just feel a little uneasy when I leave the house, but other than that, I'm doing good.
As Tanner continues walking and talking, the camera briefly pans past a long corridor far behind him. In that moment, barely noticeable unless you're really looking, an uncanny girl-like figure can be seen standing still in the distance, watching from the shadows. Tanner doesn't react at all and keeps walking, completely unaware that anything is there. The figure doesn't move, doesn't wave, and doesn't follow. It just stands there before slipping out of view as the camera shifts again. It wasn't until Tanner posted the video that people in the comments started pointing it out, timestamp after timestamp, all saying the same thing. Whatever that figure was, it appeared right after he left the house to escape the activity inside, making it feel like whatever had been haunting him hadn't stayed behind at all. Three friends were standing in the water together, laughing and getting ready to take an underwater selfie together, the camera already recording as they counted down and hyped each other up. It all felt normal at first, just another casual moment caught on video. As they prepare to dive in, a fourth figure suddenly appears behind them in the frame. It looks like a person standing just a few steps back, close enough that there's no way they could have slipped away unnoticed. The friends don't react at all, clearly unaware that anyone else is there. Seconds later, the three of them dive forward into the water together, splashing out of frame. But the strange part is what happens next. The fourth person never moves, never steps aside, and never exits the shot. When the camera steadies again, there's no one behind them at all. No swimmer surfacing, no footsteps, no disturbance in the water that would explain where that person went. Viewers slowed the footage down frame by frame, and there's no point where the figure can be seen leaving. It's as if they were never really there to begin with. The clip ends shortly after, but that unexplained extra person has left people convinced something impossible wandered into the shot for just a few seconds. At around 2 in the morning, just as Abdullah was about to turn off the lights and go to sleep, loud banging suddenly erupted from his apartment door, sharp enough to make him freeze in place. Confused and half asleep, he pulled out his phone and started recording to catch this.
It was around 8 a.m. I was going to turn off lights and ready to sleep, and then this happened again. So I heard my voice again after a month.
तुम्हें क्या है? तुम्हें भूख लगी या खाना खाओ, मेरे पीछे तंग मत करो। नीचे जा खाना खा लो फ्रिज में। मैंने नहीं खोलना इसे। निकल।
From the other side of the door, a voice could be heard begging to be let inside, repeating itself over and over, saying it was hungry and wanted to eat something. The tone didn't sound muffled like someone in the hallway, it sounded close, almost pressed against the door itself. Abdullah responds, firmly telling it no, that it can't come in. Almost instantly, the voice changes, becoming aggressive, and the knocking grows louder and faster, slamming against the door in bursts like whoever, or whatever, was getting angry. After a few tense seconds, the noise stops completely. Trying to prove to himself it was nothing, Abdullah opens the door and steps into the hallway, filming as he looks left and right. The corridor is completely empty, silent and still. No footsteps, no people, no sign that anyone had been there at all. He quickly retreats back inside and locks the door, later saying this was the moment he realized whatever was knocking didn't need to be seen to feel real. Just a day later, Abdullah found himself home alone again, still shaken from what happened the night before, but trying to convince himself it was a one-off. This time, the apartment door was already open as he moved around the house, and everything felt quiet enough to forget about it for a moment. That didn't last.
I was alone at home, so they started mimicking me again.
So, I heard someone is calling me, but I'm alone in my home. Like, मेरे घर में कोई भी नहीं है अभी. कौन? रोहान तुम हो? क्या हुआ? हाँ? तुम नीचे आओ. तुम नीचे आ जाओ रोहान. नीचे क्यों नहीं आना? क्यों? बकवास बंद करो अपनी. कौन था? बोलो. रूम में है ना कोई? मेरी एक बात अपने जेब में. Okay, bye. I don't know what it is, but okay, bye.
From somewhere upstairs, a voice suddenly echoes down toward him, clear and deliberate, telling him to come up and get back to work. Abdullah freezes when he realizes the voice sounds exactly like his own. Before he can react, it changes again, perfectly mimicking his brother's voice instead, calling his name the same way his brother always does. The switch is instant and unsettling, like whatever it is knows them both. Abdullah shouts back, telling it to keep its mouth shut, his voice shaking more than he wants to admit. Immediately after that, everything goes silent. No footsteps, no movement, nothing at all. Trying to prove to himself it's not real, he runs upstairs with his phone still recording, checking every room along the way. Of course, there's nobody there. Later, Abdullah said the silence was worse than the voice because it felt intentional, like whatever was speaking chose to stop only after he confronted it. For anyone new here, Ian is a Midwest-based ghost hunter who's been investigating abandoned and reportedly haunted locations for years, most famously, an old factory he keeps returning to because of how consistently active it's been. He's captured unexplained footsteps, distant knocks, and objects moving in this place before, which is why this next clip matters so much.
If there's anyone up here, could you make a sound? Sound like it came from in there. Is anybody in there? Looks like an old creepy piano. Oh God. That's creepy. Hello? Ooh. That was loud. Hearing thumps and bangs all throughout this place. Oh my God. Okay, just calm down. It is a freaky atmosphere up here.
Ian is standing alone inside the factory again, filming the second floor and calmly asking if anyone is up there, requesting that whatever's present make a sound. Almost immediately, a loud bang echoes from a nearby room. Ian heads straight toward it, calling out as he goes, but when he reaches the room, it's completely empty, except for an old, dust-covered piano sitting against the wall. No signs of anyone, nowhere to hide. As he's taking it in, another knock rings out, this time closer, then another and another. Each one sounds deliberate, like a response rather than random noise. Ian keeps the camera steady, clearly unsettled now, slowly turning in place to show there's still no one around him. The factory stays silent between the knocks, making each one feel intentional, almost conversational. It's moments like this that keep pulling him back to this location, because whatever is in that factory doesn't just make noise, it answers. Chase was staying over at his girlfriend's house when something strange happened that made him start recording. She had told him before that the place was haunted, saying you could always hear footsteps moving around upstairs, even when nobody was there. Chase never believed her, until the night that changed everything. Take a look.
My front camera is smashed, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now. I always say it's not haunted because the house is a little old. But it legit sounds like there's somebody upstairs. I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care. Who's up there? Oh my God, they're like at the top of the stairs. Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
The video starts with him whispering that he's finally hearing it for himself. Faint but clear footsteps can be heard moving above him, slow and steady, like someone pacing. He walks toward the stairs, the sound growing louder with each step he takes. As he begins to climb, he pauses halfway up, shining the camera toward the landing, and asks who's up there. There's no answer, just silence and the faint creak of the house settling. Then, out of nowhere, the footsteps pick up again, this time rushing straight toward him. Chase freezes, but before he can react, something invisible seems to barrel down the stairs. He instinctively swings at the air, but nothing's there. The clip ends abruptly as he backs away, shaken, realizing his girlfriend might have been right about the house all along. The date was June the 14th of 2025. Chris decided to spend the evening at a well-known haunted forest, a place locals have claimed for years is filled with restless spirits. Armed with his ghost interaction device, he began exploring deep within the trees until he stumbled upon something eerie, an old grave marker for two people right in the center of the forest.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, buddy. It's nice to talk to you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. It just said Jonathan, bombings 1920s. You are amazing. Mortuary. Right. It just said right. And that's John. I mean, you would think if his full name was Jonathan, they put Jonathan, right? But it just said Jonathan. Bombings 1920s. Right. And Nightmare. Lifetime. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's wild, bro. Wild. We're just so connected lately. I don't know what it is, man. Whoa.
As he asks questions through the device, the faint shape of a white wisp can be seen gliding behind the grave, moving slowly through the darkness before fading away. Chris continues speaking calmly, asking if anyone is there with him, and then the device suddenly responds with 2 clear words: "You're amazing." The moment leaves him speechless. Whether it was meant as kindness or mockery, it confirmed that something out there was definitely aware of him and listening. Who knows if it was one of the men who appeared on the grave. Filming from her bed late at night, a woman in Houston began recording her closet after claiming it had opened on its own just a few minutes earlier. She had recently gotten up, closed it, and returned to bed, but she decided to start filming in case it happened again. The room was quiet, the only sound being the faint hum of the air conditioner as she kept the camera pointed steadily at the door. What happened next was bizarre.
The door opened up a few minutes ago, so while I was laying down, so we're gonna see if it's gonna open again. I closed it and got back in the bed, and hopefully it is shut for tonight. I just end up getting out my bed a minute ago and shutting it, so let's see. Looky. I'm in my bed, and there she goes. So I'm gonna have to end up putting a towel in it, or she's gonna keep opening it up all night. But I'm in my bed, as you can see. It opened up again by itself.
After several tense seconds, the closet door slowly begins to pull open by itself, creaking just slightly as it moves. She gasps softly, but doesn't move, frozen as the door comes to a stop. No one else is visible in the frame, and there's no sign of a draft or string pulling it. After this, she said she's been trying to move out of the apartment entirely, convinced that whatever is in that Houston apartment doesn't want her to stay, and she would be a fool not to listen to the signs. The following footage is grainy and hard to make out, clearly filmed on an older camera, but what it captures is enough to send chills down your spine. Paul, a ghost hunter who often explores haunted places alone, was walking through a wooded area at night, with only the faint beam of his camera's built-in torch lighting the way. The crunching of leaves under his feet is constant as he scans the trees, narrating quietly to himself. Then, out of nowhere, something insane happens, so have a look.
Where's it gone? There was something there. Sure I saw something. Where is it? It was around here somewhere. It was here somewhere, but it's gone. Oh, I don't know where it is.
Out of seemingly nowhere, a white, human-like figure glides across the frame just ahead of him, its movement smooth and unnatural, almost floating rather than walking. Paul immediately swings the camera around, calling out into the darkness, but whatever it was is already gone. He searches the surrounding area, panning the light through the trees and undergrowth, but there's nothing there. No noise, no footprints, no sign of anyone else. For someone who spent years chasing the paranormal, even Paul admitted afterward that this one left him completely rattled. Who knows if he will ever spot something so clear again. The Ogden paranormal team had decided to spend the night investigating a notoriously haunted location known as Asylum 49, a place long rumored to be one of the most active spots in the state. During one part of the investigation, two members of the team, a man and a woman, were sitting quietly in a dimly lit room, waiting to see if anything would happen, while the rest of the group monitored from another area. This is what happened.
You notice that?
Yeah, it's scary.
It started off back there and now it's right here.
For a while, everything was completely still, the only sound being the faint hum of their equipment. Then, out of nowhere, soft noises began echoing from behind them, like distant shuffling or something moving just out of view. They both freeze, exchanging nervous glances before slowly turning around at the same time. The camera pans with them, and the place is empty, completely void of movement, yet the sound continues for another second before fading into silence again. No one else was near that room, and the team later confirmed through their static cameras that nobody had entered or left during that time, making this one of the eeriest moments from their night inside Asylum 49. A young family captured a moment that started off completely normal, but quickly took a strange turn. The clip begins with the grandmother arriving at the house, greeting her daughter-grandson at the door. The mom cheerfully asks her son if he wants to go to grandma's, and he immediately lights up with excitement, nodding and running toward the front yard. Things are wholesome until they become odd.
You ready to go, Grandma's? Come on. Let's go.
I want you.
She's got cups. Okay. Yeah.
Dada! I'm just hugging me. Daddy hugging me.
Oh, wait.
What?
No. Okay. Oop, come on, Clarence. I think my mom's got okay.
What, Daddy?
That's what I was just about to ask. What did you say, bud? Did you say bye too?
Bye. I said bye, Daddy.
Oh, okay.
As he walks to the right, his tone suddenly changes. He stops, looks into the distance and quietly says, "Dada," as if he's spotted someone familiar. The mom looks a little confused, since the boy's father wasn't home due to him passing away 8 years ago, but the child seems completely certain, even waving and saying "Bye, Dada," before turning back toward the car. The family later checked the footage again, and though nothing visible appears where the boy was looking, his reaction and tone were unmistakably genuine. leaving everyone wondering who or what he actually saw that day. Luke had set up a small camera to keep an eye on his cat while he was out, but what the footage ended up showing was far from what he expected. Everything seems perfectly normal at first, just a quiet kitchen with his cat lounging. Then, things start to get strange. The lamp beside the sofa suddenly flickers on, glowing unusually bright before shutting off again, then turning back on a few seconds later. It repeats this several times, almost like someone's playing with the switch, except Luke wasn't home. As the light flashes, a teddy sitting nearby begins to subtly move, its arm shifting just slightly, before an ornament placed next to it falls over completely. The cat notices immediately, jumping up and walking closer to investigate, as the lamp turns off one final time. After that, everything stops. The room goes still again, silent and undisturbed, as if nothing had ever happened. In this next clip, a woman follows her cat into a room after hearing faint children's music playing from inside, which immediately strikes her as odd, since no toys had been turned on. It's the playroom, filled with her child's things, and the cat seems unusually curious, walking straight toward the curtains near the window. As she steps in behind the car, she notices something strange. The legs of a bear plushie beneath the curtain are subtly moving back and forth, almost like they're kicking. She walks closer, trying to make sense of what she's seeing, and then pulls the curtain aside to reveal the toy lying still on the floor. It's not moving at all now. Thinking maybe she imagined it, she starts walking away, only for the bear to shift slightly again, just an inch, completely on its own. She immediately pulls it back and shows behind it with her camera, proving that nothing and no one is there. In the aftermath, she admitted the incident left her too unsettled to keep it and decided to list the toy online to sell it. Athena was on vacation at Myrtle Beach when she decided to record a quick video from her balcony, mostly just panning the camera around to show the ocean, the boardwalk, and the people below. She's calm the entire time, sounding relaxed and completely unaware that something else is happening behind her, until she pans the camera.
Beautiful Myrtle Beach.
As Athena slowly turns the camera back toward the sliding glass door that leads inside her hotel room, something incredibly disturbing appears for just a moment. Behind the sheer curtain, a strange girl peeks out from the side, only her face visible in a quick, stiff motion before she pulls back out of sight. The figure doesn't move naturally, and its face looks real, but uncanny at the same time. What makes the whole thing even more unsettling is Athena has no reaction whatsoever. She keeps recording like nothing happened, clearly seeing the girl, but likely entering freeze mode. Viewers pointed out that no one else was supposed to be in her room, and whatever that was standing behind the curtain definitely wasn't a normal person. A group of 4 friends were having a casual sleepover, hanging out late into the night while one of them had already knocked out on the sofa. The guy recording was just messing around with his phone, filming another friend who was standing in the kitchen grabbing snacks. Nothing unusual at first, just normal sleepover energy. That's until something crazy happened. Take a look.
Aí, fim da festa aí, pessoal. Ó, comprei a câmera nova, vamos colocar um vídeo no YouTube aí, ó.
Ai, que vergonha, não faz isso.
A Josi capotada já, com sono. Aí, Thiago, a câmera que eu comprei nova aí.
Bebeu demais.
Vermelhinha e tal. Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho? Mano, eu vi alguma coisa aqui, Thiago. Tem alguma coisa que passou aqui, velho.
Ih, velho.
Tô falando sério, cara. Tô falando sério. Vem aqui comigo, cara.
Tem nada aqui, não.
Eu vi uma coisa assim, cara.
Tá louco, mano?
Maluco. Maluco. Eu vou voltar a câmera. Eu vou voltar a câmera e você vai ver, velho.
As the camera focuses on the friend in the kitchen, something unexpected happens in the background. Behind him, a human-shaped figure glides across from one side to the other. It doesn't walk so much as it moves, too smoothly, almost like it was floating rather than stepping. The person filming immediately pans around to check, but there's nobody there at all. Every person who should have been in the house is accounted for, including the one who jumped up from their sleep. The movement was too fluid, too silent, and too fast to be any of them. Whatever that figure was, it wasn't a friend sneaking around. It was something else entirely, and everyone watching the footage agreed it looked anything but human. In the following video, Keisha was lying in bed with her baby girl, Ima, trying to settle her down for an afternoon nap. She had her phone propped up, casually recording the moment as she softly sang a lullaby, while Ima played with a little hairbrush in her tiny hand. The room was calm and warm, with both of them feeling nice about the moment, but then a shift happened.
Ah! Sorry. Qué linda manita que tiene la bebé. Qué linda, qué bella, qué preciosa es. Come on, do it. Do the hand thing. Qué linda, qué... Good. You do it.
Ima is looking up at her mom, both confused and content, when the hairbrush suddenly yanks downward out of her hand in a way no baby that age could pull on their own. It drops sharply to the mattress, and Ima's eyes dart down, surprised. Throughout the moment, several orbs drift across the screen, small and bright, moving almost intentionally. Keisha keeps singing, completely unaware anything strange just happened, assuming her daughter simply dropped it. But when she watched the footage back later, she immediately realized the brush didn't fall naturally at all. It was pulled. She uploaded the clip after noticing how the orbs appeared at the exact same time, convinced that something unseen had been right there beside them while she was trying to put her daughter to sleep. Suspicious of a paranormal presence in the house, a woman was casually filming someone sitting on the couch in their living room, just recording a normal moment without expecting anything strange to happen at all. The person on the couch is relaxed, scrolling on their phone, and everything in the room seems completely quiet and normal. Then something in the background shifts in a way that is hard to explain. A strange over the person's shoulders into the frame, almost like something quickly darted across the space behind them. The woman holding the camera reacts instantly, gasping as she rushes forward and grabs the camera, hoping nothing else would follow up. There is no one else in the room, no pets, no shadows that could have caused it, but the movement was unmistakable. It happened close enough to the person on the couch that if something was there, it was right behind them. After reviewing the footage later, she realized how unnerving it actually was, and the fact that it moved so close without either of them noticing makes the moment even more chilling. Michelle was filming again with her phone, sitting a few feet from a small decorative paper dragon hanging on the wall. She'd been dealing with activity for a while and decided to ask whatever was in the house to move something, hoping to finally catch undeniable proof. At first, the paper dragon only shook a little, swaying in these tiny movements that could have been written off as airflow, and Michelle even said she wasn't convinced by that alone.
Well, I picked up Trevor before you did.
Yeah, but it might not be him moving it.
Oh, I see.
Is it Trevor moving it? Move it again. You'll have to do better than that.
Oh, God. Did you see that one? You know. Do it again, I saw it. Can you have a replay?
I can't. You have to do better than that. Thank you.
God. I know it is, it's the clock.
No, the clock's not working.
Oh, God, is it working?
Thank you very much. So that is you then, Trevor?
Yeah, it is. Did you see it move?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Can you do anything else?
We'll sit down now.
Without any warning, the dragon suddenly jolted in a sharp, deliberate motion, snapping sideways hard enough that Michelle and her sister both gasped at the exact same time. Their reactions were instant and completely genuine, immediately backing away from it as Michelle asked out loud if it was Trevor, her husband who had passed, trying to get through to them. There was no answer, no voice, no follow-up movement, but the single violent jolt was enough to shake both of them. Even in the silence afterward, the atmosphere in the room felt heavy, like someone else was standing there just out of frame, listening but choosing not to reveal more. A little kid was being filmed in the living room, while his dad tried to capture a cute moment. But the clip ended up being anything but cute. Everything is normal at first, until music suddenly starts playing from somewhere. Not loud, but just eerie enough to catch the kid's attention.
A ver. ¿Qué carajo? Mames. Quédate, hijo, quédate. No mames. Amor. No me lo vas a creer.
He slowly turns his head toward the door, and in the glass panel on it, you can clearly see movement behind the glass, like a person shifting or walking past. The kid's eyes go wide and he keeps staring, confused and a little scared. His dad instantly reacts, before rushing outside to check who or what could have been standing there. But once he gets outside, there is nothing. No footsteps, no shadows, no signs of anyone walking past the door at all. Whatever appeared behind that glass wasn't a real person, and the kid definitely sensed it before the adult did. The upcoming clip is very disturbing, and a small group is gathered around an extremely unsettling doll, dressed in a long white gown, something they had been investigating because of reports that it could move on its own. At first, they're simply holding its hands and supporting it as they walk it slowly up and down the sidewalk, almost like they're testing whether the movements are intentional or mechanical. The creepy part is how naturally its legs move, lifting and stepping with perfect rhythm, more precise than anything a simple prop should be able to do. Its joints bend smoothly, ligaments shifting in a way that looks disturbingly lifelike for a doll. They eventually decide to stop assisting it and let go of its arms completely.
¿Y con las dos manos sí caminó, ¿verdad? ¿Con usted?
Entonces te fue para atrás. Sí.
¿Y nunca se le ha salido?
Se asoma por la ventana. Cuando yo me salgo a un mandado que no hay nadie. La tengo en mi cuarto y yo por el tiempo no está en nada.
Ajá.
¿En la ventana o en otro lado?
No, la estiro y no.
¿Qué onda, Fabián?
Se hace dura, mira.
A ver, yo más.
Espérame, ahorita para que la señora la cambie. Agárrala, no pasa nada.
Agárrala, hijo.
Mira, agárrala.
Mira, 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 mira. Mira. ¿Ya viste? Más con su dueña. Mira, ya dio la vuelta. Es aquí en Saltillo. Es... Agárrala de... ¡Ah! Era con Eder sí quiso. No, ya no va a querer. Con Eder, con Yair camina poquito. Con él camina poquito.
¿Qué se siente? Nada.
Fíjese que... Entonces cuando no está usted, ella se asoma.
Sí. A veces que vengo a la tienda, otros días a un señor y a una señora, y a varios, aquí esperándome.
Ajá.
Y usted la vio en la muñeca, sí. Dice, pues mire, su muñeca está asomando por la ventana. Y que me va sacando. Es que la dejo en mi cuarto, como se acuesta conmigo, ahí la dejo. Y yo me salgo, y ya para cuando pienso la encuentro en otro lado, o en otro cuarto, o así.
Pero eso se debe a lo que dice que...
The group steps back, half laughing and half terrified, but the moment their hands leave, it is the moment everything feels wrong. The doll twitches, one leg shifting slightly forward like it's trying to take another step, even without anyone touching it. Nobody can deny what they just saw. The group stares in silence, slowly backing away from it, realizing they may have been guiding something that didn't really need their help to move at all. The man in the upcoming video appeared to be working an early shift and was sitting inside what looked like an indoor forklift, breathing heavily and sounding genuinely distressed as he started recording the rear mirror in front of him. He had been hearing things around the back of the complex and finally decided to see if he could catch whatever it was.
¿Qué onda? Ando aquí acomodando unas tarimas en el monte y desde hace rato siento como que algo se asoma de ahí atrás. A ver si lo alcanzo a grabar. Mira, 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 mira. ¡Ah, la verga! Mira. ¡Ah! No mames, sí se vio. ¡A la verga! Pero no hay nadie. Aquí adentro estoy yo solo.
As he slowly began reversing the forklift, the mirror suddenly caught something that made him gasp. A black figure, there but not fully solid, almost like a shadow, ducked behind a stack of pallets the moment the vehicle moved. He froze for a second before stepping out with the camera pointed straight ahead, while calling out to see if anyone was there. He walked all the way toward the back where the thing had been, showing every corner and every open space, but there was nothing at all. No footsteps, no shadows, no place for anything to hide. The fact that the figure was only visible through the mirror made the whole moment even stranger, and his panicked breathing made it clear he knew he had just seen something he was never supposed to. In the following video, the man behind the camera keeps moving through what looks like a storage area, the kind of tight corridor where every box and shadow feels like it has weight, and you can tell he is already on edge as he scans each corner with the camera. He stops when he notices a door that should never be opened during the investigation, sitting cracked just enough to make the hallway feel wrong, and he slowly leans in to look behind it, even though the team is nowhere nearby.
La puerta se abre y se cierra sola.
Se está abriendo esa puerta. No hay nadie. Y por acá también se escucha ruido.
He finds the door opening a crack, so opens it and checks behind it just to see nothing. Because of this, he walks away and the door shuts by itself as a strange noise starts playing behind it, and he speed walks out of the hallway. The second that door slams, you can see his whole body tense, because that wasn't wind, and it definitely wasn't timing or coincidence. And the noise that follows sounds like something trying to push through the wall just to remind him he is not supposed to be there. His footsteps turn into a full speed walk that almost looks like he wants to run, but refuses to make noise, and every few seconds he glances back like he expects the door to open again. Moments like that show exactly why investigators always say curiosity is one thing, but when the building answers you on its own, that is when you learn how fast fear can move. It was late enough that the local markets should have felt peaceful, but every shutter was pulled down tight and the whole place looked abandoned, except for May cutting through the empty rows. She knew the place was closed and shouldn't have held any noise at all, which is why the first faint scream stopped her in her tracks, sounding like someone crying out in pain from deep inside the metal-covered stalls. She followed it slowly, each step making the sound grow sharper and more desperate, until it felt like it was right beside her, but no matter where she turned, there was never anyone there.
Imagínate andar por la central de abastos y oír esto.
The screaming and crying keep getting louder as she walks, yet she can't find the source, even when it sounds feet away. By the time she reached the end of the walkway, the noise was so overwhelming it felt like it was coming from the walls, and she spun around expecting someone to stumble out, but the shutters were sealed tight like they hadn't moved in hours. That was the moment she realized she wasn't chasing a person at all, and the way the sound cut off instantly once she stopped filming, almost like it knew she understood, made the silence after feel even worse. May had walked straight into something trying to be heard, and the fact that it never showed itself only made it clearer that she had been listening to a ghost. It happened late in the evening when the house was already settling into that quiet that makes every shadow seem a little thicker, and Charlie kept tugging at his dad's sleeve, saying there was a scary boy standing across the room staring at him. His dad brushed it off at first, calling it pretend, but Charlie wasn't smiling or joking. He just kept insisting the boy was real and he didn't want to be near him. Eventually, the dad told him to show where this scary boy was, so Charlie nervously walked with him through the hall and stopped at a doorway, pointing inside with his hands shaking like he expected something to move.
What are you saying, Charlie? There's a scary boy where? What do you mean? What, are you doing pretend? Yeah, you're just playing pretend, aren't you? Do you want to show me? Show me then. Come on. You show me where he is.
This is actually fucking bad.
Where? Where? In there? In there? Okay, get ready, Charlie. No scary boy. No, there's nothing there, mate. Do you want me to go in? Look. There's absolutely nothing in here. You've got nothing to be scared about. I'm absolutely shitting myself. There's nothing to be scared about. There's nothing here. That's just the bathroom. Nothing there, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. That's just the shower. I've never been more scared in my entire life. Oh. See, told you. Nothing there, mate. Perfect. Come on. Let me see you.
The father opens the door and sees nothing, while Charlie refuses to step past the threshold. The moment the door swings open to an empty room, the dad turns back confused, but Charlie steps back like he's afraid something invisible is right in front of him, claiming that the scary boy is still there, even if his dad can't see him. That kind of fear doesn't come from pretending, and the way Charlie wouldn't even look into the room made the dad realize this wasn't just a kid's imagination. It was something he couldn't explain, and something Charlie clearly wished he hadn't noticed at all. It was supposed to be a quiet night in Braden's room, but the ceiling kept creaking with slow, heavy footsteps, even though nobody was home, and there shouldn't have been anything moving above him at all. He sat still for a second, trying to convince himself it was the house settling, but the steps were too steady, too human, so he grabbed his flashlight and started walking through the dark halls with that kind of nervous focus where every sound feels closer than it should.
Wow, it's really bad right now. Okay, hold on. Jesus. Okay, hold up. Why is the tree on there? Whatever that is coming from up here. Should I attempt to go in there? Because that was coming, all that thumping, it was coming from like right in there, in that room.
What the? He points his flashlight upstairs and hears his own exact voice say, "Come up for a sec." The way the voice coming down the stairs matched his tone perfectly meant he froze, because there was no way his own voice should be calling him from a place where nobody was standing. It wasn't an echo, and it wasn't a trick of the house. It sounded like something pretending to be him just to get his attention. He didn't step closer. He didn't even breathe for a moment, because when something upstairs can mimic you perfectly, the last thing you want to do is give it the chance to talk again. The following video was captured amidst a normal slow night at the sneaker shop. The kind where the worker is just sweeping the floor and straightening boxes while the CCTV quietly records every corner of the room. Nothing feels off until the air suddenly shifts a little, just enough to make him pause, and the camera catches him glancing toward the back, like he sensed something move. As he keeps cleaning, the door to the back of the shop slams shut on its own, even though nothing is near it. He jumps and stares because there's no draft, no co-workers, no reason for it to slam with that much force, and the CCTV angle shows the room behind it is completely empty. It's the kind of movement that looks deliberate, like something wanted to make itself noticed, and the way he slowly backs away from the doorway says everything. Even in a brightly lit shop, surrounded by sneakers and shelves, that door made it clear he wasn't alone at all. The same sneaker shop is open now, customers walking around and the place feeling completely normal, like nothing strange had ever happened there. And one of the workers is helping a guy try on a new pair he picked from the wall. They're chatting casually as the customer slips the sneakers on. Then he walks over toward the mirror to get a better look, while the worker follows a few steps behind, totally unaware that the cameras are still watching every corner and about to capture something crazy.
Yeah, I'm going, bro. Pharaoh 3 cup. He's trying not to take too long. So, hell no.
As the customer stands in front of the mirror, a single sneaker from the display wall drops to the floor on its own, with no one near it, causing both of them to panic and run. The moment that sneaker hits the ground, they both whip around because it didn't slide. It didn't wobble off. It fell straight down like something knocked it loose with intention. You can see the confusion turn into fear instantly, and the worker doesn't even try to explain it before bolting toward the front door with the customer right behind him. It feels like whatever slammed the back door before was still there, waiting for another chance to be noticed, and that single falling sneaker was enough to send them both running. The shop had only been open for 12 minutes when the man working started saying something was moving around in the attic, and the walls, like the whole building, was settling wrong, and the fact that the store next door was abandoned made every sound feel way more isolated than it should. He walked around the aisles with his camera, trying to prove he wasn't imagining it, and the second he passed the back corner, he heard a hard knock hit behind the wall, like something was following him from the other side.
Okay. We have literally been open for 12 minutes. There is so much stuff happening right now that I don't even understand it. So I'm going to show you. No one's on the cameras. There's stuff coming from the attic and in the walls again. And if you look it up, the store next to us doesn't exist. They went out of business. No one's here. Hello? Hello? Did you hear the knock? Hello? Can you knock again? Oh my. What the? It's honestly a great day to be haunted. I'm just recording right from Insta. I don't know if the machines are so loud, but there's so much knocking coming from the attic. This is insane, like literally. Okay. I'm gonna throw up. I'm not ready for this. It is too early for this. We're not even open. Hello? Is there a reason you're so active right now? My Jesus Christ! What the fuck is that? I can't fake that. Holy cow. Okay, wait. I'm gonna try to do one continuous video proving that nobody's up here. Oh my god. Oh my god, I have goosebumps. Wow, this ain't even a TikTok. Okay. I'm just... God. Okay, it literally just stopped. It literally just stopped. Okay, can't show the code. Can't show the code. Something literally flew off the wall. Bro. Spirit, is there a reason you're so upset today? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Jesus. I don't even know where to go. Okay. Holy, look at this. I'm a little actually scared right now because this is in the morning. We don't usually experience this much in the morning.
The knocks keep happening as he circles the store, most of them coming from the attic, and the place isn't even open yet, so there is no way it could be a prankster customer. He pulls down the attic ladder, and loud banging erupts above him before going silent. But right as he says it stopped, more knocks explode across the ceiling, and something is thrown off the wall. He shows the item on the floor through the CCTV feed. When the object hits the ground, he freezes, because that wasn't just noise, it was force, and the attic ladder hanging open behind him makes it feel like something could climb down at any second. He stands there breathing hard while staring into the dark above, and the silence that follows feels like the building is waiting for him to move so it can answer again. Ian, a ghost hunter in the Midwest, entered a decaying factory that locals claimed was haunted. The air was thick with dust and the faint smell of rust, and the silence made every creak echo like a warning. He set up his equipment, hoping to communicate with whatever lingered in the shadows, and immediately something responded.
Who are you? Whoa. Sir, why do you still haunt this tannery? But you said railing. Railing. Like fell over the railing. Are you saying that you died on these catwalks? And that you fell? Whoa. It sounded like that's what happened. Jesus. This is so crazy. Thank you, sir, for communicating with me. Is there anything you would like to say? Sounded like it said work. Are you going back to work? Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to work then, if that's the case.
The voice was faint but clear, saying, "Lost my balance." Ian asked why it haunted the place, and the reply came simply, "Railing." Piecing it together, he assumed the spirit had fallen from the railing in life, and the ghost confirmed that's what happened. Feeling a mix of relief and awe, Ian thanked the spirit for sharing its story, then gave it one last chance to speak. The final words whispered back, "It's working," leaving Ian with the eerie sense that the factory still held secrets, and that even in death, some connections lingered longer than expected. Henrique had started recording that night after his young daughter mentioned hearing weird tapping sounds coming from near her cabinet while trying to fall asleep. Wanting to prove it was nothing, Henrique turned on his phone camera and began filming the quiet room, pointing the camera toward the cabinet where his son usually slept beside.
O que vocês fariam se vocês... Não, acabei, eu juro por Deus, eu vi um negócio preto aqui do lado da... até acordou, cara.
For the first few seconds, nothing seems strange, just a normal night. Then, suddenly, a shadow passes across the window beside the bed, moving too fast and too high to be anything outside. A split second later, a loud bang echoes through the room, startling him. He rushes to the window to check, but when he looks out, there's nothing. The yard below is empty, and since the window is on the second floor, no person or animal could have walked by. Henrique stays silent for a moment, the camera still recording, trying to make sense of what he just saw. The shadow shouldn't have been possible, and yet it was right there, just inches away from where his son had been sleeping hours before. In the following video, Zane and a group of friends had been out riding a large loader-style vehicle late at night, the kind used mostly in construction or transport. They'd started filming simply because the moon looked incredible that night, big and bright above the houses on the road. Everything seemed fine until, without warning, the vehicle suddenly lost power and came to a stop.
How big the moon is, it's really big. Anyway, it's pretty cool. What the hell? No. No, 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 no. Wait, there's nothing there.
You can hear them joking at first, trying to figure out what happened, but confusion quickly replaces laughter when they realize there's no mechanical reason why it shut off. While filming the breakdown, Zane pans the camera slightly, catching the reflection in one of the side mirrors. Behind the vehicle, clear as day, stands a man. He's motionless, perfectly still, and yet when the group turns around to look in real life, there's nobody there. The spot behind them is completely empty. They replay the clip several times, trying to understand what they saw, but every time, the figure is visible only in the mirror. It wasn't one of them, and it wasn't a trick of the light. Just a man standing in silence behind their vehicle, gone the second they looked. For 8 long years, a woman had lived in this same house, and even after all that time, the strange things that happen inside still manage to shake her. This video is just another reminder of why she's never truly gotten used to it. She starts filming while sitting down, focused on the doorway ahead, as something that hinted something was about to happen had come. Faint knocking sounds can be heard, light but repetitive, echoing from somewhere down the hall. It's rhythmic, almost patient, like someone quietly trying to get her attention. She hesitates before standing up, the camera trembling slightly as she walks through the hallway toward the front room. Each step she takes seems to make the knocking fade, until, right as she reaches the end of the hall, it stops completely. The silence that follows feels heavy, like the house itself is holding its breath, waiting for her next move. We do not know what her next course of action was, but I definitely hope she's made an effort of banishing it for her own good. The farmland behind the house in the next video stretched out for acres, quiet and open, the kind of place that always felt peaceful no matter the time of day. But this afternoon, that calm didn't last long. After hearing some strange sounds earlier, Ethan Ryder decided to step outside to check things out. Little did he know that something sinister was waiting.
Oh gosh. So I got the stray cat out here, right? Now I'll check in on it. This thing's cute as f. And I'll look up. What the f? I'm gonna go look over. Real quick. Y'all see it? Oh, y'all see that shit though? Is this disappearing?
He unlocks the door and steps into the sunlight, spotting a stray cat sitting near the steps, looking harmless and almost comforting. But as Ethan looks past it, his camera catches something across the yard. Far out at the edge of his garden, a tall, black figure is standing there, completely still, facing directly toward him. It doesn't move an inch, even in the wind. Ethan starts walking closer, trying to figure out who or what it is, but just as he gets a little nearer, the figure vanishes right before his eyes. In broad daylight, with nothing to hide behind, it simply disappears. This was, of course, extremely disturbing. In the follow-up clip, Ethan decided to take his investigation further by heading into the basement, a part of the property he'd always avoided. The place was a complete mess, with it being dusty, cluttered, and filled with old furniture and boxes stacked against the walls. He had no idea that something else was down there too, though. Take a look.
I'm in the basement. I'm about to talk to this ghost or whatever it is.
It's pretty scary. If you can't tell, my basement is scary as hell. But, let's talk to it. Is there anybody in here? If you're in here, show yourself. Oh no, y'all see that? What the fuck? Oh hell no. Is that a door? Oh hell no, hold up. Is anybody in here? Oh hell no, I'm out. I'm out this place.
He starts recording, trying to talk to whatever might be there, asking if anybody's down there with him. His voice echoes slightly as he asks it to show itself, waiting in the stillness for any kind of response. A few seconds later, something suddenly drops in the far corner of the basement and bounces across the floor like a small rubber ball being tossed out of nowhere. Ethan swings the camera toward the noise, but there's no one there, just empty space and darkness. Realizing he's completely alone, panic sets in. Though the video cuts off soon after, Ethan later admitted that he bolted out of the basement, convinced something unseen had responded to him. After posting the basement video, Ethan's comments were flooded with viewers daring him to go back outside and try talking to whatever he had seen before. Against his better judgment, he decided to do it. This time, he filmed himself walking through the same open farmland, heading straight toward the spot where that black figure had first appeared. Would it appear again? You'll have to watch and discover for yourself.
So I got told to go talk to it. So I'm gonna go talk to it. It's dark as out here. I can't see shit. I see a few trees. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's dark as yeah, and scary as hell. Oh hell no! What the f is that? What the? Oh hell no!
The area looked calm again with nothing unusual and no sign of movement anywhere. He communicated with his camera to talk to the viewers and then stopped for a moment. For a few moments, there's only silence and the sound of wind brushing through the grass. Then Ethan turns the camera around toward the house and freezes. In the downstairs window, a dark, human-shaped silhouette is standing perfectly still, facing him. It's the same figure from before, only now it's inside his home, staring down at him through the glass. Ethan gasps and immediately starts running back across the yard, the footage shaking violently as he tries to get away. That's where the clip ends. According to viewers, Ethan Ryder was never heard from again. We can only hope that he is okay. Jack works night shifts as a cleaner in a large office complex, often by herself for hours at a time. Recently, she'd been telling people that strange things kept happening while she was cleaning, such as doors opening on their own, lights flickering, and footsteps echoing through empty hallways. To prove she wasn't imagining it, she decided to set up a few cameras around the building to see if he could capture anything unusual. Fortunately for her and our entertainment, one of them succeeded. One of those cameras ended up recording something that she still can't explain. In the footage, everything looks normal at first, just a quiet office hallway with a single door at the end. Then, for a brief moment, a blurred face appears in the small glass window of the door, almost like someone is peeking out from behind it. The face lingers for a second, before quickly retreating out of sight. Jack swears she was completely alone that night, and the CCTV from the rest of the building confirmed that nobody else was there. Whatever was behind that door wasn't supposed to be in the building at all, and had an unwelcome stay. After the first clip went viral, Jack decided to start filming firsthand to prove she wasn't just relying on security footage. This time, she set her phone up while finishing her cleaning duties in the same room where the face had appeared days earlier. She explains that while taking the trash out, She heard a faint voice nearby, which is what made her start recording in the first place. The office is silent with the light on, and every sound feels amplified as she walks around trying to show there's nobody there.
Okay, so I'm doing the trash. This is the same room that had that face right here. And I was cleaning this bathroom, and I had my phone on this cart. Right? I just heard
For most of the recording, nothing seems out of the ordinary, just Jack moving around the room and talking. But right near the end of the clip, as she's about to stop recording, a soft whisper can be heard coming from somewhere off camera. It's quiet, but unmistakable, a chilling voice that simply says hello. Jack freezes for a moment before the clip ends abruptly. Whether it was the same presence caught on camera before, or something new entirely, she's now more convinced than ever that she isn't alone in that building. Chris had brought out a Ouija board the night before with his friend, hoping to finally get some kind of response after everything that had been happening around his house. But the plan fell flat, and the board stayed silent the entire time. Now he was home alone, trying to convince himself that the quiet meant things were settling down. But the house had that strange stillness that always made him feel like something was listening. He was sitting in the living room when a sudden knock echoed through the house, even though no one was at the door, followed by a soft tapping that seemed to come from the room he was in. Take a look.
A lot of you guys are gonna be mad at me, but me and my cousin broke this out. Messed with it last night.
Dad had sex on a Ouija board. Oh boy.
We did it the proper way, though. I know this is a kid's toy, but y'all don't understand the kind of shit y'all's getting into when y'all fuck with this. At least some people don't. I heard it, but I didn't see it. I still hear it. You can hear that, can't you? I can. Sound like tapping. Everybody's like, oh, it's the hutch. It's the hutch. Can you do it again? This is a selfie stick I taped to a tripod.
He stood up and looked around, expecting to find something obvious, but the room was empty and nothing moved except for the faint shift of shadows from the lamp. A whisper slipped through the air behind him, a quiet hello that he didn't even register at first because it sounded too close and too low to make sense. Before he could process the stillness, the camera stand beside him toppled over on its own, hitting the floor with a sudden clatter that made him jump. He picked it up and propped it back into place, trying to laugh it off, but the uneasy feeling lingered like whatever whispered at him was still standing right behind his shoulder. Chris was sitting in his living room later that night, with the TV playing softly beside him and his dog curled up at his feet, trying to enjoy the quiet, even though the house kept giving him that uneasy feeling again. The tapping started up just like before, faint and scattered, and then the door started to vibrate.
Not chewing on it. I'm sorry, y'all. He's just playing. It may be loud on my phone. I don't know yet. But yeah, we're just chilling. And I swear, up and down, I could have swore the door was vibrating. It's a sliding door. Slides into the wall. There it goes. It's making me shake a little bit. I'm sorry. That scared the shit out of me. I thought I had one turn to the light.
While he stroked the dog, the door across the room began to vibrate like something on the other side was pushing against it. And this is the moment that he pulled out the camera and kept it aimed straight at the door. The door slid open just a little on its own, then slowly crept even farther, revealing a deeper patch of darkness behind it that made the room feel colder. After a few seconds, it opened all the way, swinging wide until the entire doorway was visible and completely empty. Not a single movement inside. Chris stood up with his dog watching closely, walked toward the room, and flipped the light on. The space was perfectly still, every corner untouched, literally not a soul in sight. The silence felt even heavier than before, like whatever opened the door had stepped back just out of reach the moment he crossed the threshold. We might see more of Chris in future videos. The hospital room looked totally ordinary on camera, just a standard space with a bed in the center, a chair pushed against the wall, a small table with folded blankets, and the usual equipment sitting quietly in standby. Nothing looked out of place, and the frame stayed steady for a while, showing a perfectly normal scene with no movement at all. Out of nowhere, a strange, uneven sound slipped into the audio, almost like a motor trying to start even though nothing in the room was supposed to be running, and the backrest of the bed began lifting on its own in small, awkward jumps. It kept rising higher, little by little, climbing at a slow, steady angle until it was nearly upright at 90 degrees, with no one near the controls and nothing touching it. The rest of the room stayed exactly the same, the chair still, the other equipment untouched, every corner frozen except for that single, impossible movement. When the noise finally stopped, the bed stayed locked in that upright position, leaving the room looking perfectly normal again, except for the one thing that clearly hadn't moved by itself. Sabia had a security camera set up in her kitchen in the Netherlands, just a regular feed showing the table and a few candles sitting untouched near the back wall. Everything looked calm for a while, nothing unusual happening at all except for a few soft orbs drifting across the screen like dust catching the light. Then, without any movement around it, the candle suddenly sparked to life, a quick flash that turned into a steady flame, as if someone had just struck a match right beside it. Nothing else shifted in the room, no breeze touched the wick, and there was no one standing anywhere near it. The flame held perfectly still after forming, burning like it had been lit on purpose, even though Sabia knew the candle had been cold for hours. The rest of the kitchen stayed completely normal on camera, but the sudden light from the wick made the whole space feel different. like something unseen had stepped in just long enough to leave a mark, before disappearing again. A few nights later, Sabia checked another piece of security footage, this time from the sitting room, and the scene looked completely still at first, with the furniture exactly where it always stayed, and the time on the right showing it was practically midnight. The camera picked up a few drifting orbs crossing the frame like pale specks floating through the air, the same kind she had seen in the kitchen earlier, but nothing else seemed off until the corner of the room shifted. A chair that had been pushed neatly into the corner slid forward on its own, moving in one smooth line across the floor, even though no one was near it. More orbs drifted by in clusters right after, almost like the movement stirred something up, and then the painting on the wall began tilting slowly side to side as if an invisible hand was nudging it. The rest of the room stayed perfectly quiet. No shadows moving, no lights flickering, just the chair out of place and the painting swaying gently before settling back into place. Watching it all unfold at midnight made the sitting room feel less like a normal part of the house and more like another spot where something unseen was making itself known piece by piece. Who knows if it continued, because this is the last we heard from Sabia. In the following video, Stephen was washing dishes with the usual evening noises in the background, the sink running, the faint hum of the fridge, and nothing out of the ordinary until something suddenly tapped hard against the middle of his back and bounced onto the floor behind him. The sound made him jerk around with that instant confusion where your brain tries to catch up to what your body already felt, and he had no idea what could have hit him because he knew no one else was supposed to be that close.
Dude, I'm a little wigged out right now. So I was washing dishes and just putting things away, and all of a sudden I feel something hit me in the back and I heard it bounce. Look at this shit. And this ball hits me in the back right shoulder out of nowhere. And what's even crazier is look where Avery's at. Now mind you, I just got done washing the air fryer and was drying it off. Whatever it was had a little bit of force. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Lauren's been in bed for almost 2 days. Like, she gets up for a little bit, but she has not felt good at all. And Avery, let's just face it, if he's not watching his tablet, he's on the Oculus or he's outside. And I knew with it being like 12 o'clock, he's inside. So I have no idea. Now I have a lot of activity. It's not like malicious or anything, but that right there was the first time that's happened. So I don't know, what do y'all think about it?
When he cut to the CCTV footage, the camera clearly showed a small ball shooting across the room and hitting him square in the back before dropping to the floor, and the look on his face as he turned around said everything about how unexpected it was. He switched the feed over to another part of the house where his son Avery was sitting in plain view, completely occupied and nowhere near the kitchen, just to make it absolutely clear it couldn't have been him messing around. The replay showed no one behind Stephen, no shadows moving, no sign of any trick, just the ball launching on its own and hitting him like it had been tossed by someone he couldn't see. Elysia was alone at her storage unit in the middle of the day, filming down the long, narrow corridor that always felt eerie, but she never really questioned it. The overhead lights buzzed softly, reflecting off the rows of identical metal doors, while her voice echoed down as she told us about what was happening. She wasn't expecting anything at all until she started filming, just checking on a few things she had stored away, when something at the very end of the hallway caught her attention.
I'm over here at the storage, and I don't know if it's me, but y'all tell me I don't see that. Oh no. I don't know if it's just a fan like going in and out, but the is that? I don't. Maybe I'm bugging. No, I know y'all just see that, right? Oh!
A dark shape peeked out from the corner, a black blob leaning just far enough around the wall for its outline to show before sliding back out of sight again. She kept filming, trying to convince herself it was a trick of the light, but the shape returned a second later, then slipped away, then peeked again like it was deliberately watching her from the far end of the corridor. Nothing else in the hallway moved, no doors rattled, no shadows shifted, except for that one shape darting back and forth behind the last wall. The emptiness made the whole place feel colder, and the repeated movements left her with the awful sense that whatever was hiding around that corner wasn't trying to avoid her at all, but was studying her from a distance she couldn't close. In the follow-up clip, Elysia returned to the storage facility in the daytime, hoping the daylight would make the place feel less threatening, but the moment she stepped inside, she realized it didn't help at all. The entire corridor was pitch dark, even though the building should have been fully lit during business hours. She was the only customer there, with only a couple of staff somewhere in the front office, so she decided to walk in anyway.
Alright, y'all. I'm finally back at this place. And you know, I'm in the process of moving in and out. Right now, ain't nobody here. Like, listen. If I see something again, I'm definitely reporting to the manager to put up that video, because I'm not playing. There's one car over there, but I'm just gonna see, because right now everything's dark. Like inside there, I don't know if you can see it, but it's dark. Like, look how scary that shit is, bro. This is why I hate doing this shit, but I got no choice. Just here. See, like, I know when you go in, it censors somebody that's here. Oh, so. See, that's that shit that be scary. And, like, I'm on the second floor. Okay. I know that this lady probably lives here or she does her business here, but she's here every single day, nonstop. If that chair's not there, she's not here. If the chair's there, she's there. Yeah, so I don't know if she lives there or does her little business there. Yeah, anyways, yeah, I don't know. Alright. See, this is my storage. And I'm honestly, I'm like acting like you guys are human or bitch, I might be living here tonight. No. I'm not doing this. And there's no way there's no way I'm in the storage stuck in this shit. Hello! Oh my god.
As soon as she crossed the motion sensor, the overhead lights flickered on one by one, illuminating the long hallway in a way that instantly reminded her of the last video. She went upstairs to the second floor, unlocked her storage unit, and began recording inside while she rearranged a few items. Out of nowhere, the sound of something sliding echoed from directly outside the unit, a long dragging noise like metal or plastic scraping across the floor. Elysia froze, staring toward the open doorway before rushing forward and pulling the metal shutter down as fast as she could, trapping herself safely inside so whatever had caused the noise couldn't get in. She waited quietly, breathing hard, but the sliding sound didn't repeat. Later that day, Staff reviewed the CCTV for her, and the cameras confirmed it. Nobody else had entered that floor at all during the time she was there, making the situation far more unnerving than she wanted to believe. Before the following video started to film, a woman began noticing something unsettling in her home, the distinct sound of footsteps going up and down her stairs at random times. At first, she thought it might be her house settling, or maybe a neighbor outside, but the pattern was too deliberate, too heavy to dismiss. Immediately, determined to find out what was causing it, she started filming.
I keep hearing somebody walk up and down my stairs, but there is obviously nobody there. There's nothing there. And it keeps coming up and down, up and down.
The sounds continued, loud and heavy, echoing through the stairwell as if someone invisible was running up and down. She called out a few times, but there was no response, no sign of movement other than the creaks beneath the unseen steps. The camera pans toward the stairs, clearly showing they're empty, yet the noises persist. Each step seems to press down hard, then stop, then start again. Her breathing grows uneasy as she realizes there's no logical explanation. Nobody else is home, no pets, no people, just those haunting footsteps stomping endlessly. The same woman, still shaken from the footsteps she'd heard days earlier, decided to keep her phone close just in case the noises returned. One evening, while relaxing in her living room, she began hearing something new. It was a deep, metallic scraping echoing from beneath her floor. It sounded slow, deliberate, and heavy, like something heavy and metal dragging across the floor. Take a look.
Guys, and if you hear it, that's exactly what I'm talking about. See, there's nothing out of place over here. There's nobody down here. I'm home alone. Like, there's nothing that should be making that noise. Nothing. I have no idea. This keeps happening. I'll hear this every now and again. But I do not want to be down here right now. I do not want to be down here. I just wanted to show you guys.
She made her way to the basement door, hesitating for a few seconds before opening it. As soon as she flicked the light switch on, the noise stopped completely. The basement fell silent, unnaturally so, as if whatever had been making the sound froze the moment she arrived. She stepped down the creaking steps and scanned the room, her eyes flickering everywhere, but everything was perfectly still. No pipes moving, no tools fallen over, no sign of life. She rushed back upstairs, locking the door behind her. Later, she said she would rather not enter the basement again, and there's no way you would either. Samantha was suddenly jolted awake at around 4 in the morning by strange noises echoing through her room. Still half asleep, but unnerved, she grabbed her phone, turned on the flashlight, and decided to start recording. Wanting people to see it live in case something truly happened, she began streaming on Facebook, a detail that would later prove the footage wasn't edited when it was re-uploaded to YouTube.
there's them up. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, fuck that shit. What the fuck? What's that? What's up there? What's that? What's that light? Oh, it's out of my charge. Please, it's off my charge. Oh, them up things fucking.
At first, everything seemed still, but a small orb drifted across the screen, faint but noticeable against the darkness. Samantha's breathing grew heavier as she whispered into the phone, mentioning what she saw. Just as she steadied her camera toward her wardrobe, a loud thud made her jump, signifying that something had fallen from the very top shelf with no visible cause. The stream immediately started being filled up with comments from people watching live, telling her to get out of the room. She panned the camera again, showing the fallen object on the floor, her voice trembling. In the aftermath, Samantha said she hadn't touched that shelf in weeks, and the item that fell was wedged firmly behind other boxes. Since that night, she's been too scared to sleep with the lights off, claiming the noises still return around the same time every morning. A Russian man had set out to explore what locals called an abandoned military bunker deep in the wilderness, a place rumored for years to be haunted by the spirits of those who never made it out. The entrance was a tunnel-like structure, half buried in dirt and stone, with air so still it felt untouched for decades.
Сейчас направляемся на поиски военной секретной заброшенной базы. Там, в лесу такие вот заброшки. Интересно сейчас найти эту базу. Так, идем. Она здесь здоровая, блин, эти дороги такие. Куча этих развилок. Будем направляться потихоньку. Вот, ребята, посмотрите. Подошли уже, нашли наконец-то эту военную секретную базу. Здесь никто не снимал еще, не лазил. И очень интересно самому и ребятам. Посмотрите, какие уже ангары. Так, очень опасно, чтобы не обвалилось. Пошли, ребята. Такие вот здание, помещение. Я думаю, достаем фонарик мой. Я взял. Все. О, смотрите, как классно светит. Ангар такой арочный. В лесу уже, видно, в земле заныканный. Такая вот была здесь военная база. Посмотрите. Какой ангар, ребята. Прикольно, что-то новенькое. И там много таких ангаров. Прикольно, ребята, давно не было у меня таких приключений. Типа сталка. Здесь, ребята, жутковато. Потому что здесь, блин, куча этих волков, зверей всяких. Подходим, идем дальше. Смотреть, Шо как? Вот, ребята, еще такой вот бункер. Фу, территория очень большая. Здесь будет очень тяжело найти эти шахты. Так. Пошли. А вот здесь уже стрёмненько, ребята. Какие-то комнаты. Что это было? Ребята! Фу, валим! Фу, блин! Там что-то было в том бункере. Жесть просто. Фу. По-моему, кто-то стоит. Валим! Фу, ребята. Фу. Вот это я, блин, нагонялся. Стрёмненько. Такая вот секретная военная база. Еще, блин, кто-то там лазил.
As he stepped inside, his flashlight cut through the heavy darkness, revealing crumbling walls, rusted pipes, and piles of rubble scattered across the ground. He moved carefully through the first few tunnels, whispering his thoughts in Russian, his voice echoing faintly off the concrete. After several minutes, he finally reached an exit that led him back outside into the cold air, the light from the trees almost blinding compared to what he had just come from. But curiosity got the better of him. He made his way to another sector nearby, one even darker and more decayed than the first. The moment he stepped inside, the atmosphere changed instantly to something thicker and heavier. That's when it happened. From the corner of his light, a faint human figure began emerging from a doorway at the end of the hall. He froze for half a second before bolting out of the bunker, the camera shaking as he gasped for breath. Later, he swore he'd never return to that site again, convinced whatever he saw in that tunnel wasn't living. The following video has the context of a man sitting quietly at home when a series of loud bangs began echoing from his garage. At first, he thought it was the wind or maybe something falling from a shelf, but the sounds were too heavy, too deliberate. Grabbing his phone and a flashlight, he went to check it out.
What is that noise?
The moment he entered the garage, the banging grew louder, pounding in quick bursts that made the metal walls tremble. He followed the sound until he realized it wasn't coming from the floor or the walls, it was above him. The attic hatch in the ceiling was moving ever so slightly, the latch trembling as if something was pushing against it from the other side. He stood frozen, watching it shift just enough to make his heart race before the movement suddenly stopped. Gathering his nerve, he reached up and pulled the hatch down, the ladder unfolding with a creak that echoed through the quiet garage. Slowly, he climbed the steps, flashlight in hand, scanning the corners of the attic. Dust, insulation, and old boxes, nothing else. The place was completely empty, but what unsettled him most was the feeling that, even in the silence, something up there was still watching him from the dark. The following evening, as he walked up the path toward his house, every light inside suddenly flicked off at once. The blackout was so abrupt that he immediately pulled out his phone and began recording.
I was walking towards my house, and all the lights suddenly turned off inside. I don't know if my wife's home or not.
He unlocked the door cautiously and stepped inside, using his flashlight to cut through the thick darkness. His voice was tense as he narrated to us, but nobody else was there, and the house stayed eerily silent. Moving slowly from room to room, the beam of his light caught something swaying above the kitchen table, the ceiling light, still moving back and forth like someone had just brushed past it. He stepped closer, audibly getting nervous, but deep down he knew better. From the kitchen, he walked into the garage, hoping maybe his wife had come home early, but her car wasn't there. He was completely alone. That night he packed a small bag and went to stay with a friend, saying he needed space from whatever was happening in that house. He later said he wasn't sure what his next move would be, but one thing was certain. He wouldn't be spending another night there until he had real answers. Late one night, a woman in her car started filming after her dog began whining uncontrollably at the window across the street. The animal's behavior was strange, with its ears pinned back, tail tucked, refusing to move. Curious and uneasy, she aimed her camera across the road toward the house opposite.
No, no es normal eso. Ahí paró. Correte. Sí, porque no es que sube y baja así del...
Through the glass of a vibrantly lit upstairs window, something could be seen moving back and forth at an unnaturally fast pace. The figure's motion was erratic and too smooth to be human, gliding side to side in a blur that didn't match the lighting or the rhythm of a person walking. His dog clearly felt some sort of weird presence, and it was almost as if it could sense something he couldn't. Eventually, the figure finally stopped appearing, but it took way longer than expected. It was roughly 3 hours after the clip ended. To this day, he claims no one lives in that house anymore, and his dog still refuses to go near the window after dark. Ian, the Midwest Ghost Hunter, is one of the most subscribed ghost hunters, and this is from his haunted theater experience, the one where so many strange encounters have already taken place. Still determined to uncover more evidence, he swept his camera slowly around the empty room, giving a full 360-degree view of the walls and the curtains that lined them.
Creepy. Ooh, this is one of the creepiest nights I've experienced so far. Mabel, are you still over here? If she peeks up from those curtains, I'm out of here. That's it, I'm running. Oh man, just imagine.
As he zoomed in on one of the far curtains, the footage abruptly cut to another camera angle pointed at a stairway. This time, the shot had zero movement, no shaking. For a few seconds, nothing happened until a faint white mist began to descend the stairs, almost floating down step by step before fading near the bottom. The mist didn't behave like dust or light glare, and Ian himself confirmed there was no fog or smoke in the building that night. Whatever it was, it seemed to have its own form and direction. For those following Ian's journey through this haunted theater, this moment only deepens the mystery. Subscribe so you don't miss what he discovers next. An Instagram user has been documenting what he calls experiments with the entity that supposedly lives in his basement. At first, people thought he was just making skits, but the footage keeps getting harder to explain. In one video, the sound of slow, deliberate footsteps can be heard making their way halfway up the basement stairs.
This Instagram user posted experiments they have been doing with the paranormal entity in their basement. There are footsteps, then the balloon is hit by an unseen force. In a second video, more footsteps are followed by the owner's hand being slapped. Finally, he tries one more experiment. Watch what happens.
Moments later, a blue balloon begins bouncing by itself in the air, not rolling or drifting, but bouncing, as though someone unseen was hitting it upward from below. A few days later, he recorded again after hearing the same footsteps. This time they climbed all the way to the top and stopped right in front of him. The camera captures his arm jerking back twice as two clear slaps echo through the basement, even though nobody visible was there. The final clip is the most unsettling. He holds a roll of toilet paper at the top of the stairs, indirectly daring the spirit in the basement to do something about it. The footsteps start again, slow and heavy, and then the roll begins to unravel itself slightly, but not to an extent that was too crazy. Viewers called it one of the clearest pieces of interaction footage they'd ever seen. It was concrete evidence that whatever's in that basement isn't just moving objects, it's responding. A little girl was sitting on the floor, playing with some of her toys, when she suddenly started talking to someone who wasn't there. At first, upon checking the camera, her parents thought she was just pretending, the way most kids do. But as she kept going, it became unsettling. She could be heard greeting someone and using a name her parents recognized instantly, Grandma Eckersley, a family member who had passed away, and they were still deeply upset by her passing. She spoke with warmth and familiarity, describing her as an angel and telling her about her toys, as though carrying on a genuine conversation. What made it all the more chilling was how naturally she spoke, because it was very clear that this wasn't just the result of a wild imagination. The parents watched the footage in silence, torn between fear and disbelief. Many online have said that young children are more receptive to things adults can't see, and if that's true, this little girl might have been speaking to someone who never really left. Built back in 1887, the house Noah lived in carried a long and eerie history. Locals say the spirits of the original homeowners never left, and after 3 years inside those walls, Noah had no doubt about it. The knocks always came at night, steady and deliberate, like someone on the other side of the door refusing to leave.
Jesus loves me, yes I know.
Built in 1887, this home was haunted by the original homeowners, Judson Hood and his wife Mary Pogue. I lived here for 3 years and just released my 10-part series explaining the history of the home and how it eventually burnt down.
Mary. Mary girl. Ooh, I'm covered in goosebumps. Mary, I know you just died 106 years ago, bitch. Give it up, Mary. Cut it out. Come on, Mary, for real. You done said your piece 106 times. Die. Go to the grave. This shit's creepy. I'll give it to you since it's your death dates or whatever. Happy 106th day in heaven. I hope you're in heaven.
I called 911.
Jesus loves me, yes I know, for the Bible. Come on, girl. What do you want? Normally you shut up when I come down here. I'm gonna try to run past it. Hey, Mary. Mary, can you stop? Mary, stop. Creepy ass painting. I am not cut out for this shit, y'all. My motherfucking rosary.
This time, Noah decided to speak directly to whatever was there, asking it to stop, but the knocking only grew louder and faster, like it was angry. His voice shakes slightly as he warns it again, telling the presence to go away, to rest, but it doesn't stop. The sound keeps echoing through the hallway until he tells the spirit behind it to return to the grave where it came from. The moment the words leave his mouth, the video cuts out completely. The knocking didn't stop that night. A few days later, Noah posted another video. This time, the knocks had returned, louder than ever. The camera shows him halfway down the stairs, his voice tired and frustrated as he films the front door closely.
If you could just please stop. I'm trying to sleep. This is the third time you got me up. I'm here, so come on, what do you need? What are you trying to...
As soon as he stops to catch his breath, the knocking stops too. Like whatever's there is listening to him. He stands still for a few seconds, trying to process it, then speaks again, this time softer, asking the ghost to please stop because he's just trying to sleep. For a moment, there's silence. No movement, no sound, just the hum of the house in the middle of the night. Then suddenly, a scary demon jumped out, except it was actually an edit he added later of himself as a joke, something to break the tension up. But even with that small edit, viewers pointed out how real his fear seemed, how cautious he was walking down those stairs. A few nights later, Noah uploaded yet another video, saying he hadn't been sleeping properly since the last incident. The knocking had changed this time, and was not coming from the door anymore, but from the walls themselves.
Shh. Can y'all please just walk me down, please?
Hello? If you can hear me, please stop. Why are you going faster? Oh, fuck no.
The recording starts with him getting out of bed in frustration, the camera shaking as the loud thuds echo through the house. He walks to the same midpoint of the stairs, where it always seems to happen, calling out, "Hello," and demanding the ghost to stop. For a brief moment, the sounds pause, the house falling completely silent. Then, just as he begins to back away, the knocking resumes, except faster, sharper, almost rhythmic, like it's responding directly to him. His breathing quickens, the tension building as he stays frozen on the stairs. Eventually, it stops just as suddenly as it started, leaving an eerie quiet behind. Noah whispers to himself and slowly retreats back up the steps, clearly terrified to even look back. Whatever is haunting that house isn't finished with him yet.